What's up? How's it going? Here is a little bit extended version review of my cold steel Spartan. Well, Spartans. I've had, I think, four total now. The first two I damaged and were replaced by cold steel. I'll go into that in a second. And after carrying these things for a lot of time, I did make some custom changes to them. I love to customize knives. I just think it's fun. And I'll go over the customizations and a little bit of my experience here. So one big thing on all cold steels with the thumb plate is I think this back corner tends to hang up in your pocket and make the pocket deployment less reliable. So what I do is I just round out the back corner of the thumb plate there and then add that dip under the thumb plate. It just seems to hang up less in your pants if you're pocket deploying it that way. I added serrations to both of these knives. The way uh, oftentimes cold steel seems to send out their knives with an almost chisel grind, even though they do grind it on both sides. Like this blade, where the serrations are, that's actually more of where the edge was, and then I had to come in and V grind the rest of the edge. The big changes, the other big change that I've done to these knives is that I shaved the liners down like quite a lot. And this one here is about 7.8 ounces on my scale from 9.15 ounces or something like that on Blade HQ. I do have a before measurement, but I'd have to go back and look. So it makes it a lot lighter. It gives it kind of a weight forward feel to it. And let's see, what else did I do to this guy? I softened the handle scales. They're a little bit sharp, so in the blade gap there you can see that the handle scales are rounded down a little bit. That's just a little sandpaper job. And then I added this dip to the lock bar. Pretty much did the same thing to this knife. This is an earlier iteration where I put some chimping on there. It wasn't really necessary, but I did it anyway. Let's see here. So I talked about the thumb plate, talked about the serrations. Oh, here's a cool thing. On this one, I actually V-ground these serrations in. They work great. I think I felt like I overdid them a little bit, so I kind of went for a minimal number of serrations on this blade. In both situations, it seems to work great. What I like about it is that I don't have to use a recurved sharpening stone. I can just use a regular stone because there's no recurve anymore going up to the point of the serrations, and then I can sharpen the serrations separately. Dips on the lock bars are just kind of mild ergonomic improvement. Yeah, that's about it. Oh, I will talk to I've had about four cold, not about, I've had four cold steel Spartans, including these two. The first two were OS 8 versions, and I took chips out of both of those. And I think it had less to do with the steel and more to do with what I was doing with them and the hollow grind of the edges. Because I took a chip out of the first one when I was splitting wood in Hawaii, just about like that where my thumb is. I hadn't done any serrations or anything like that. The blade was almost completely stock. It was completely stock. But I took a chip out of the first blade like that, splitting wood. And then I was chopping on some really sappy brush called lemon bush and took a chip out of the second blade like that. Both times cold steel was cool enough to just go ahead and replace them under warranty. This was the one that I had replaced under warranty. I purchased this one later on. And I think it's because of the hollow grind of this edge. It's just a very thin edge, and I just don't think that it's a great blade shape for real heavy woods and sort of chopping sort of activities. It's more of just, a big everyday carry knife that you wouldn't really want to put a lot of heavy work into. Great knives. I've really enjoyed them. I enjoy carrying them. I just think it's funny to have a big knife. I tend to carry something small as for a nice little small EDC if I'm going to have something big like this with me. just in case I need smaller activities. This, something like this Boker works great. I'm trying to think if I want to say anything else about these guys before I take off. No, I think that's about it. Yeah. Even in their stock configuration, they're great blades. I would always tell somebody to, at the very, very minimum, you don't need this dip, you don't need to take the weight off of it, but this little round right here on the thumb plate will make your pocket deployments significantly more reliable with pretty much any cold steel thumb plated pocket knife. And I would totally recommend just getting your Torx screwdriver, taking the thumb plate off, and either using a belt sander, bench grinder, Dremel, even just a file, and just rounding off that back corner. It will really help you if you decide to pocket deploy any cold steel with the thumb plate on it. It's a really cool knife, and I've totally enjoyed the changes that I've made to it. I enjoyed it before, and we'll probably keep carrying this for quite a while to come. All right, have a great day. Thanks for watching my video.